Hey, this is Mike at Make, and we are here in Youngstown, Ohio.
I'm Caleb Kraft, community editor, and we have 23 3D printers we are testing out right now.
We are at America Makes in Youngstown doing the latest round of our 3D printer shootout. This is the third time that we've done this, but the first time that we've done it off-site. And this is a very exciting week and weekend for us as we are busy at work putting all of these machines through the test.
Yeah, the testers have been putting stuff together. You can kind of see if I turn sideways here, there's people back there testing things, printers everywhere, things flying through the air as they're being printed. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see the results of all of this testing in just a couple months when Make issue 42 hits the newsstands. But it's a big ordeal. So we put a lot of time into getting this right, making sure that we figure out what each machine can do, and letting you guys know about how it all works. Yeah.
All right.
So one of the things that I really would like to do is bring Dale Doherty into the camera here and talk a little bit about hey Dale, talk about a little bit about how we ended up in Youngstown this year and what the 3D printer shootout means for us.
Sure. Well, you know, this is actually, I think, a perfect example of how Make likes to do things, is to bring the community together. And we have really these volunteer testers are coming in from as far away as Luxembourg and as close as Pittsburgh to participate in testing the printers. I think it's as much fun for them to meet and spend time together as it is to interact with 3D printers. But you know, we've done this in our office the last 2 years, and here in Youngstown, Ohio, is America Makes, which is a federal funded facility to look at additive manufacturing and its broader role, the research, and we'll have Ralph come up here and introduce it in a minute. But you know, they've been really gracious hosts to have us here. We've taken over the basement, and we have all the printers out here and so many testers. But I think the whole editorial team is here in Youngstown, and it's great to spend time with the new printers. And you know, you see them out of the box. It's something we didn't see a year ago. They're all different. I mean, one of the comments we're making is there's only about one left that's a laser cutter cabinet. So wood is almost gone.
Right, and that was a hallmark of 3D printers for a long, long time.
And so we're seeing a lot of new designs and new looks, and we'll learn more about that.
Yeah,
so, great to be here.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, and you know, last year was a blast in our office, but it's great because we get to see a whole new community as well. And you know, this is a maker.
Yeah,
community.
Last night we had a wonderful reception here from Youngstown community, and you know, this is Ralph can tell you more, but this is you know, one of those sort of manufacturing belts in the United States that has had hard times, and partially this institute and other things are helping to lay a foundation for new jobs and new technology.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, let's bring Ralph in, and
why don't you?
All right, cool. Thanks, Dale. Hey, Ralph. This is Ralph Resnick from America Makes, and Ralph, you are the founder, if I'm not mistaken, of the program here. Is that correct?
Well, I'm the founding director, and it was my organization, NCDMM, that helped organize the team of the tech belt, as we call it, not the rust belt. And the team of members, universities, local businesses, small businesses, and brought them together to compete for this National Additive Manufacturing Innovation Institute. That is a result of the President's initiatives to advance manufacturing. So additive manufacturing, 3D printing, was one that the multiple government agencies identified as a key technology that they are embracing, but they wanted to accelerate into mainstream. So America Makes is a public-private partnership that brings together industry, academia, business development groups, makers of all kinds. That because we want to overcome some of the challenges. We all know as 3D printers that there are things we need to overcome, and to really see this revolutionize manufacturing and the way we make things in the future. We want to help that out. So it's exciting to be hosting this extravaganza and all this activity that's going on, because we're looking for innovation everywhere, from the university labs, from industry, from the garages in the living room. So we're all in this together to take manufacturing forward. So.
And you guys had a pretty exciting endorsement. I believe it was the 2013 State of the Union address,
Right.
where Obama actually gave a shout out to this facility right here, what you're putting together and been working on.
Yeah. Actually, we've had 2 shout outs in the last State of the Unions, but in the first one, he talked about the fact that we took this abandoned furniture warehouse and within 37 days turned it into a 3D printing innovation factory. So we're pretty excited about that, and it all has to do with not only our partners and so on, but the commitment from the Youngstown community. This community and this region, this Tech Belt region, we have manufacturing and making in our DNA. So so this is a great way to revitalize that with 3D printing.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've gotten to see the facility here in person. I've been tracking what you guys have been doing for a couple of years now, and it's great. I mean, this we've taken over this basement, as Caleb and I were just talking about, and Dale. But one level up, the main floor, and you've got some really impressive machines, 3D sintering, laser sintering machines, and I haven't even been up to the second floor yet.
Yeah, and we have a lot of design space up there and a lot of desktop printers. Everything that you see in this facility has been entrusted by the manufacturers and so on that feel that this initiative that we're doing is really important. So we've had great cooperation from all the equipment builders and all the software providers. So,
well, we agree. Cool. I mean, this is obviously something Make feels very very strongly about. There's a lot of importance in this whole movement. So we're happy to be here.
And we're happy you're here, and we'll continue to. Well, you will continue to test and make things, and we'll continue to feed you sweets and so on to keep you going. So
yeah, and we'll take the viewers on a tour later. We'll do a video tour of some of the facility here to show everybody the things that are happening on site here. Some of the examples you have, some of the incredible machines and so forth.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we'd like to do is that a significant part of advancing 3D printing is also educating the workforce. So that's a significant part of what we're doing. And so one of the ways that we do that is that we bring interns into the institute, and they work hand in hand with us and learn to use all of this miraculous equipment. And so I'd like to introduce one of our interns, if you don't mind.
That'd be great.
Okay,
yeah.
And that's Ashley Martov. Ashley is our rock star intern here.
And let me adjust this right here so we can get everyone in the camera.
Ashley recently had some notoriety. You're familiar that we had the first White House Maker Faire.
Yes.
Where Dale was a significant party there. But one of the things one of the initiatives that was in that was that they had a university maker initiative, where they went out to various universities to commit to embracing the maker movement and to incorporate that into some of their educational programs. So there was a letter that was drawn up, and they all signed that letter over close to 100 universities. Well, Ashley took that letter and turned it into a 3D print file, and we actually printed the letter in metal on our SLM machine, and then because everything was real time and all the signatures were coming in as last minute,
the final hour.
We also printed the signature pages on our SLS machine.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. And in fact, the printed letter will be in the presidential archives. So
very nice.
Yeah. So Ashley is our 3D printing rock star.
Yeah, that's great. Well,
and
congrats.
Thank you.
We'll turn it over to you to talk about what you've been doing.
Yeah. So I know you've got a little bit of there's a wind turbine project that you were explaining to me briefly, but I'd love to see it and hear more about it, and tell me a bit of the history of how this came about.
Okay, so my position here at American Makes is workforce and educational outreach. So my main goal is to develop curriculum for ages kindergarten to grade. And we work with teachers, we've worked with the National Science Foundation, and we're also working with kids camps. So I developed curriculum for additive manufacturing. There's not a lot out there, so you have to start from scratch. So one of the parts of curriculum that I designed is using a wind turbine to help kids and teachers understand aerodynamics and also 3D print it and test them out. So part of the program is I like to get the kids and teachers to understand the design software. So I'll walk them through CAD software step by step, and we'll add parameters to these wind turbines. And at the end, the kids or teachers can go through and change each parameter on their own. The length of the blade, how many blades there are, the pitch, the angle, the hub size, all these different parameters they can change, which makes it custom to their liking, and then we get to print them out on our desktop printers, and then we get to actually test them using a wind turbine tower and fan that we have over here.
I'll help bring this piece over. Got this plugged in behind us, but
so we have this tower and this fan, and we have the wind turbine on right now, and we can test the wind turbine using this tachometer here, and it measures the RPMs. So we'll measure each kid's or teacher's tachometer and RPMs and see which blade is the fastest, which is a nice little competition.
And show me how easy it is to switch the blades on the tower piece that you have here.
Okay, so this is a 3-blade turbine. You just slip it off like that, and you can add a 4-blade turbine bind just by putting it through this pin and onto this hook, and you're ready to go. You're ready to test the next one.
Oh, that red one goes way faster.
Yes.
Look at that. So one of the things that I think is really great about this, I mean, obviously you've got design software, design thinking, you're teaching some serious software skills, but there's also a component in this where the process of iteration, which is really one of the advantages of additive manufacturing, you can really quickly modify a design and then create the physical product of it and test it out.
Yeah, it's a matter of minutes, really. If you want to test a new one, you just print it out, it's ready to go. And
yeah, and this whole project can it can show that really clearly to the next wave of students and who are going to become the next wave of engineers, like yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it's an exciting time, and I mean, this teaches aerodynamics, like I said, while you're learning 3D printing, so you're getting two different learning experiences. Yeah,
this is great. Yeah, so this is just one of the examples of some of the cool things that they have here at America Makes on display, and Ashley's helping lead some of these educational initiatives. So lots more stuff, cool stuff like this to come.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you, Ash.
You're welcome.
So Caleb, before we jump into everything that we're doing here with the testing, what have you seen today? What stood out to you so far?
Oh man, well, you know, there's a lot of printers here, first of all, and the incredible quality of the prints that I'm seeing is pretty cool. And really, what's the coolest thing here is the people, the testers, and digging the bits of information out of them, because these people live in this stuff. I mean, they're doing this every single day, and so you know, I might walk by and say, oh, that looks kind of interesting, and they can spit out information that I never would have thought of.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, we got to talk about Anna, who's really running the show. While you and I are playing with this cool stuff upstairs, we got Anna here, you know, getting these testers whipped into shape. And,
So this is the second year in a row that she's organized this testing setup. She puts together an incredible curriculum, and then she's got a team of people. I mean, she's managing quite an operation here.
Yeah, they're all really cool people. But before we talk about them specifically, let's bring Anna in and let her explain some things here.
Yeah, I'll jump aside. I'll let you guys check.
All right.
Sure, so I'll come in. My testers are just going to come behind me.
Okay. Well, let's start off real quick with like the themes and the process for testing.
Sure. So we've done this 3 years in a row now. I was part of it for 2. We've learned a lot of different things about the models. It's been really interesting to see that the test models we chose have kind of proliferated across the internet, and that people are using them and manufacturers are using them in their websites and print materials. So that's kind of interesting to see that effect. And we wanted to step it up this year. So instead of just kind of using arbitrary models or even the torture test, which has been very popular, people asked us to bring back from the first year. We wanted to look at very specific printer features. Sometimes torture tests can be difficult, the one that had all of the features mashed together, because very few printers do all of those things well all at once. And so it's very hard to tell what's going wrong when you mash a bunch of features together. So we wanted to make sure that we were testing individual features to really zero in on what printers were doing well, both mechanically and in the software. So we had Andreas. They're actually designed some really interesting test probes in which we printed in consistent PLA. So we used the same material from the same vendor for all the probes to make sure that we're really comparing, like to like. So Andreas, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of the big things we're doing this year is trying to move towards a parametric and quantitative definition of print quality. It's been this very kind of ethereal thing that has never had a fixed definition and has generally been, people have generally treated, I guess you could say, layer height as a proxy for print quality, and that's really not the best. Print quality is much more than that. It's a composite quality that is composed of the amount of resonance in your Cartesian positioning system. It's dependent on your mass flow control. It's dependent largely on your slicer, on your acceleration profiles. So what we've done this year is really try to systematically probe each one of those individual parameters that contribute to print quality. So we are running the extruders into the ground with a very precision test geometry that is designed to break the extruder, so we can evaluate when it breaks rather than how it breaks. So breaking it down into more of a binary system makes evaluation much easier. Looking at resonance specifically in the XY gantry, we're looking at resonance in the Z. We're looking at thin wall features. We're looking at dimensional accuracy in X and Y, looking specifically for backlash in X and Y, also accuracy in Z. So we're really trying to be very precise and break it down into very quantifiable things. Things can be measured repeatedly and consistently. So hopefully this will be a good step forward, and we can get some numbers from this. So excited about that.
Thank you. We're very excited about that. Some other things we've been noticing, just up front, taking printers out of the boxes, we can see that there's a real difference in packaging this year. So there's the look of the machines, which has changed. We see very little laser cut plywood. We saw a lot of aluminum extrusion last year. We're seeing less of that, and we're seeing more manufactured, factory-produced machines. And we're also seeing the printers packaged more like computers. So you pull your Dell computer out of the box, and it's got a cardboard kind of frame around it with foam inserts that keep it very stable and secure in the box. Many of the printers are packaged this way. They're all zip tied up and together, very secure. So manufacturers are obviously taking a lot of attention to detail, but the way the printers are being produced is also different, and that's interesting to see. We've got some other testers here with us. We've got Matt Stoltz. Matt, tell us about some of the things that you've been noticing as we've been testing on this first day.
Yeah, I think what Anna was talking about the overall look and appearance of the machines this year, we're definitely seeing a lot more fit and finish. Machines look a lot more polished, a lot more professional, more consumer device driven. Design is coming into effect now, and we're seeing really nice looking machines. But the really great thing is we're spending less time actually trying to fix machines and trying to get things to print, and things are printing far more consistently, reliably, and performing the way that we really hope that a machine of this generation would perform. So we're really happy with everything.
So good news to all fans of 3D printing. Printers are getting better and easier to use out of the box. So it's fantastic. We also have Luis here.
Hi.
Hey, so you want to talk a little bit about something you've seen? Anything of interest today on this first day?
Sure. So I deal with 3D printing in an educational setting, so I've been interested in that Christmas morning aspect. What instructions are they including? Do they make sense? Is there something they've overstepped? And a few maybe put some out of order. But generally we're seeing really well written pieces, well-produced booklets, color, very thorough, pretty good websites, very few major omissions. So it's, a lot of these are showing up in retail stores. So what happens when a new person off the street opens up one of these, follows the instructions? Is it successful? Does it make sense? And it's been pretty pleasing. So
excellent. Well, that's good. So documentation is getting better. We see, the first runs are getting better, printers are printing better, and they're packaged better. So we've got some interesting results from the first day. We're still running a lot of our test prints. We'll be running very late into the night and all day tomorrow and late into tomorrow night. So, you know, look for our issue coming out in later in November, and it should be quite interesting. So, who's up next? Are we still good?
We've still got some time, and we've got really cool stuff to do. One of the things we wanted to do was kind of walk around a little bit, or at least turn the camera a bit, and kind of just show how we got this set up. It's really cool to be able to see what's going on. Do you want to, Mike, you want to step in here, and maybe I can turn the camera?
And while you're doing that, I want to tell everybody, so those of you who are watching, if you have questions, you can post them to the event page. If you're watching this later on YouTube, you can tweet any of the questions to Make, and we'll jump in on Twitter and we can answer them that way, or on any of our other social networks and channels. So feel free to ask questions, and we'll answer everything we can.
Right. Let's see if we can't move this.
Bear with us. It'll be a little shaky.
That one's fine. That was just the battery cable.
All right. I don't know what we can get. You got to direct me here from what
so
you can see.
We're good. And Anna, let's have you over here as well. So you can see we've got the room split up into two halves. If you pan, there we go. We've got printers on both sides of this space here. 23 total. Although
we have 23 different models.
Yes.
We have 25 machines here, so there are 2 duplicates actually.
Can we share the names of them, or are we holding on to that?
We can share some names, I suppose. It'd be a long list to go through everything.
It's a long list.
But, you know, we've got the machines that you're going to expect to see.
We do.
The maker bots, the printer bots, the Ultimakers, and so forth. But any surprise machines that you think are interesting that people might be interested in finding out about?
Well, I'd say that there's a lot of new and interesting models. There's a lot of models that have been radically upgraded, especially in appearance from last year. We'll see how they actually perform. That's why we do this. And we're excited to test them out. You know, I mean, even if you pan around the room, you can see a lot of machines that are lit up. Most machines have LCD panels on them. They didn't last year. Only a few did. So it's interesting to see an increase in onboard controls and some new interesting visual designs. I think that there's a lot more attention being paid to industrial design and kind of visual physical appearance. As opposed to before, where it was purely functional and just getting any kind of printer out there.
Yeah. One of the things it really is. We've watched over year after year the 3D printer community that take these designs. It's grown from being these consumer machines, from being a garage hobby, something you'd see just in a corner of Maker Faire, and now they have become these really nicely stylized machines that are they're becoming really fine-tuned and highly precise and reliable setups.
Right. So I mean, we saw a big push at CES to really bring 3D printing mainstream, and there was a very notable tone that everyone would have a 3D printer in their house. We don't know if that's true, but we do see real attention being paid to a machine that you would want to put in your living room, or something that you'd want to show off because it's attractive, as opposed to something that looks like it was cobbled together in a workshop. So there's been a real kind of visual change, and we hope that there's a corresponding change in performance as well. We'll see. We'll let you know.
We will let you know. Yeah.
So for somebody who hasn't read it before, hasn't read the reviews before, what's the process like for reviewing one of these printers? Like from when we have the box in the room here, what is the process like?
Sure. So first we do a basic unboxing procedure, something we like to call our Christmas morning test. So you get a printer. It's Christmas morning. You pull it on out. You check it out, you read all the documentation that's in there. How do I get this going fast? Ideally, you want a quick start guide. You want to get out, get printing right away. But you don't want to make any mistakes. You want to get good results right away. You want to impress the kids and the family and take those pictures. So we do these Christmas morning tests where we unbox, we do a first run, and we do it as we would if we were a first-time user and didn't know anything about 3D printing. So we really try and pay attention to the documentation and ensuring that it is easy to follow. And we note all of these things. So we note, were there instructions in the box? Were they clear and easy to follow? Was it fast for us to set up? Were there problems? What were they? If there was no documentation, were we pointed to a website? Were there troubleshooting guides? What was there? How did we get through it? Was it fast and easy, or was it slow and painful?
Right.
And then we run a whole series of tests. So in past years, we printed kind of a lot of attractive models, from different designers on the Thingiverse that tested different features. We've had a torture test, we've had a variety of things we've tried. And this year we're really focused on, we've got a short amount of time for the shootout. We want to get as much information as we can, and really pinpoint, which printers are well put together, which has a nice stable Z-axis, which is very wobbly. All these things dramatically affect quality. And we want to have solid things to say to you about what we discovered this weekend, plus our own observations, opinions, and experience in what we've seen in 3D printing and how we've seen it change over the past years. So we're running all these probes, and then we run a lot of overnight prints. We'll be running some kind of big, beautiful prints. We want to see if the printers can go all night. Do they jam when we come in the morning? What's on the platform? And then we're going to be running some print-in-place articulated tests to see how well printers handle that type of model. And we'll be featuring those in the magazine as well. So we also, throughout the process, we stop, we talk to each other, we say, hey, what printers are having problems? What can we kind of get together and talk about? How are the models looking? We kind of check in and figure out how the process is going.
Yep.
And we adjust as necessary. So, there's been a few points so far where we say, this seems to be going in such a direction. Maybe we should reevaluate what we're doing. Maybe we should print those prints tomorrow. And, something that we've really noticed that's interesting is the speed of a printer, which a lot of people want to know about, is really dependent on a lot of things, but most of it is the software, really. And so some of these printers that are perhaps easy to use have software that has limited control features. And so what that means is some of them print very, very slowly because they're not really letting you get into the guts or get into the changes and modify them. And they want to improve your print quality. They slow way down to do it. So some prints that we thought would be 20 minutes are actually 2 hours. So we're adjusting and tweaking as we go. We're timing some prints. We're figuring out how that works. And we're finding out a lot of interesting things, which we'll be sharing with you in our tips and tricks and all of our print data, in addition to the text that we use and the photos of the prints and the printers and the reviews.
And all of this is going to be available in Make 42, which will be on newsstands November 25th. So keep your eyes open for it. It's going to be another fantastic round of review issue, our 3D printer issues. Some of the funnest to make, and I feel like they're some of the funnest to read.
I think so.
That's something that we enjoy. If you guys have tips, if you guys have projects, things you've done within 3D printing that you want to share, we'd love to receive that. We'd love to help turn that and send it out to the community as well. So we're here to hear your stories and help share them with everybody too. Feel free through any of our social channels, Twitter, Facebook, Google+. Send us the stuff you're working on. Let us hear about what you've been doing, because so much of this 3D printer community, or the 3D printer progress, is community driven. So it's you guys that are doing this. It's great. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'd say Caleb, jump on in. Let's wrap up. We'll get Anna back to the testing, and thank you, Anna. We've said this a couple times, but I really think one of the greatest things about getting this group of people together is everybody's got a different story. Everyone's an expert here, and there's so much, just so many stories that just keep coming up from everyone that I speak with.
I know, I keep getting in trouble because I'm distracting the testers from doing their jobs, asking them to tell me stories of some of the cool printers they've worked on, or things they've built, or problems they've solved. Yeah. Another thing that I would like to hear, along with sending in your tips, tell us what printers you've got and what you think of them, whether they're working well or what problems you've had.
Yeah.
It's always interesting because we can get one printer here that maybe has a problem, but there could be 1,000 people who have used it and not had that problem. And so it's kind of cool to hear other people's input on what they have and what's working for them.
Yeah, definitely. And even along those lines, one of the things we were talking about earlier today, did you build your own printer? These really started as largely DIY kits. Now they've become consumer electronic devices that you can buy and then use to build other things. But some people still love to build their own printers. And if you have, I'm really curious. What did you build? Why did you build it? What are you doing with it? How's that been moving forward? Yeah, good.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for peeking into the basement here, and we're going to get back to all the tests. November 25th on the newsstands, Make 42 3D printer shootout. We are excited for you guys to see it. All right.